So what we have here is a Daikin compressor. Some of you guys that work on Daikins might recognise it, but probably not in this this state. This is out of the VRV range, 3 and 4. Could be in the latest, not sure. I mainly work on VRV 3s and 4s, and like myself and others, I probably changed a fair few of these and just binned them. Didn't worry about seeing what was wrong. Obviously, high amps means some sort of mechanical fail. Anyway, I took it upon myself to cut one up and see exactly what went wrong with this one. It's sort of a follow-on from my short video on that Daikin drawing high amps. Not the same compressor, but I had one recently going into L9 fault, and that's, for you guys that are not sure, that is a overcurrent fault, and this definitely shows why I was going into fault. I've split it up into 3 sections, sort of 4, as you can see. I'll start from the top, work our way down. I'll try and explain the best I can, and yeah. So at the top, here's his little lid. There's your suction port. Suction port. There's a little check valve there I found. I always wonder what that was. I've changed them, but that some stop refrigerant, stop pressure going back the other way. Just seats up against here. Boom, shuts off. So there's his lid. Under here we have the discharge port, reed valves, and if we keep going deeper down, under this is where all the party happens. There, they haven't seen a scroll in person. That's essentially what it looks like. Basically, that scroll and this scroll sit inside each other, and the motor's running. Boom, 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 back and forwards. Ever so slightly, the clearances and the tolerances are spot on, but it's enough to close the gap up as it goes around, and then discharges out of here. There's a port down there, and it goes down the side, and then comes out here. That's your main discharge port, back out into the condenser. Basically underneath. So if we go over here, that sits on top like that, and as the motor spins around, probably like that, it basically just oscillates back and forwards, and yeah, sits inside. Alright, we'll remove the scroll part, or the party part, where it all happens. Let's just show underneath. As you can see there, that's where your shaft goes up in there. This might even give us a better view of this. That's your discharge port. There's your stator. I just went to town on it, trying to bash it all out with a hammer. Didn't quite work. So basically all here is discharge area. I never thought that your terminals would be in the discharge, but they are. And I always thought suction keeps your windings cool. But looking at this, they're copping the discharge temps all the time, but that's definitely cooler than electric motor running by itself with no cooling over the top. Not really much special here. Like I said, discharge port. Nothing real special. Like I said, this was a mechanical seized, not a burnout or anything, so the windings were all good. So we'll move over here. This is your rotor. These little holes here are your oil feeds for your bearings. So So I showed you before on the head. There's your rotor. Again, that sits in the bottom. What we have here is, or what I could gather is, that sits in your oil sump right down, and somehow this pull picks up oil, and the oil gets fed up through the shaft and out these holes. And while we're here, this is the damage on the shaft. Look at the wear marks in that. No wonder it was going in L9 fault. It's been grinding away for some time. As you can see up the top, we've got some damage as well. Just a bit of scoring. There could be even a bit of heat there as well, discoloring. And there's your oil. So oil comes out. M holes, constantly feeding. And then up the top as well. And this is your oil sump, where your shaft drops in the center. This is that bearing there, which has absolutely destroyed the shaft. I'm not sure exactly how this has happened. I'm not sure if it's age, because this was a 2012 model, or something's come out through that oil hole, because as you can see, there is nowhere in this sump of the compressor filter before it goes back up through the shaft. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see. I guess not many people out there would go to the effort of in their own time to pull something like this apart to investigate to why we are changing these compressors. But I also drained the oil out. I pulled out 500 ml short of the recommended weight of oil in these compressors. Sorry, literage. It's 1.7 litres, and yeah, so it's definitely lost some oil. But yeah, hope you find this interesting. Anyone that hasn't seen a compressor pulled apart, it's pretty cool to see a scroll in person and essentially how these guys work, considering I change them a fair bit. Cheers.